Hey guys, it's Tarkan back with another video. Finally, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm still a bit snotty. I guess I'm always a little bit snotty, though, right? It's just one of my personality traits. Anyway, thanks for all the well wishes and for everyone being patient and all the advice. I've eaten all the garlic in the world. I've been downing my gingerade kombucha religiously every day. Drinking hot tea, getting a lot of rest. But also, most importantly, just kind of stepping away from things a little bit is nice to do from time to time, right? I'm also only human, and sometimes I find myself, just kind of, it's that going the extra mile thing, or pushing yourself a little bit too hard, and your body kind of sometimes will go, pull back, mofo, you're doing too much, you're spreading yourself too thin, right? And just like you guys, I also still deal with certain resistances in my life and certain blockages and certain limiting beliefs, right? It's just a matter of how we react to those, because we're always going to have them, okay? So I've learned to listen to my inner being. I've learned to listen to my body when it says, give it a rest, all right? Take care of yourself a little bit. So this wasn't just about getting better from a cold. It was also just about kind of getting back to myself a little bit for just a week, just kind of going, hey, what am I doing? And what is it I want right now? Sometimes I'm so busy helping other people that I have to pay attention to myself from time to time. I got to sort of like push that aside for a bit. And I think sometimes this kind of stuff happens. You experience what Abraham calls dis-ease, right? That's really sort of their idea of disease or getting cold or getting sick. You're ill at ease about something in your life, or you're just pushing yourself too hard, right? So there you go. There's a bit of a demonstration of my personal humanity for you. But yeah, so anyway, it's been good healing and getting back to myself and kind of like, doing some inner work as well, but mainly just kind of chilling out a little bit. I have been working, I've been dealing with clients in that time, but it's not really a big deal. But also I didn't, I wanted to put the videos aside for a week because I was like hacking and coughing and sneezing and sniffling, and nobody wants to watch a sick guy talk about law of attraction. So, I certainly wouldn't. Anyway, I am feeling a lot better. I have a lot more energy. There's a little bit of lingering frogginess, so you'll probably hear that as I speak in this video. And I really just wanted to do a quick one for you, because, we're ramping up to do another podcast episode very soon, coming up next week. That's going to be a good one, so watch out for that one. You guys are going to love it, I'm sure. But I was kind of hanging out last night and I was thinking about something. Well, dis-ease, ill at ease, right? I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about what sort of the resistance that we can sometimes have towards our desire. It takes on many forms, right? It can take on the form of sort of, not believing it's going to happen, although I always stress that 100% belief in your desire that it's going to unfold is not necessary. What is necessary is trusting in the process and letting go of interfering and mingling, putting your finger in the cake, in the batter and whatever, or micromanaging the situation, letting the universe sort it out for you. That's a trust issue. I tend to think it's a little bit different than full-on belief. Belief comes, like I always say, as a byproduct of you just becoming more aware of your manifesting power and your creative abilities as a human being and as an infinite being on this planet, bouncing around in this meat suit, right? Trying to get that car, trying to get that gal or that guy, trying to get that paycheck, whatever it is, okay? But I was thinking a little bit about that. So resistance can come in many, many forms, right? But here's one form that we haven't really spoken about. I've spoken about it in a podcast episode. There's the idea that you might be afraid of your desire, right? You might be afraid, secretly, subconsciously afraid of getting what you want, because when you think about it, suddenly all these problems and potential issues pop up in your mind. That is another form of resistance. But another thing that could happen here is that, and I posted a little Instagram snippet about this yesterday, because I was trying to just keep it in my head and think about it too for you guys today, is this idea that, while you're out there bouncing around feeling unworthy of your desire, right? What you could do in that moment is kind of flip the script a little bit and take a look at whether your desire is actually worthy of you, right? And that's not necessarily saying, if you are out there, which you probably are watching this video, trying to manifest a relationship with a specific person, I'm not necessarily saying, is that specific person worthy of you? I'm saying, is your vision worthy of who you are now, who you have become? Because I guarantee you, even if you haven't yet manifested or are not yet seeing the manifestation that you want so badly, actually, and especially if you aren't seeing it yet, I would venture to say, more often than not, what's going on here is that in the process of even just doing it, even just learning all this stuff and watching these videos and reading everything you can get your hands on and trying out all these different techniques and methods, even in the process of doing that, you have grown. You have expanded and you have evolved beyond your previous understanding of yourself and of the world that you live in and how everything works. And maybe you haven't noticed it. But oftentimes what happens is we have these desires from day one. They cause us to go out and learn more about it, find all these teachings, find all these theories and these concepts. And what happens is, as a result of studying all this stuff, we actually become smarter, we become better, we become more aware of our power, we grow. We grow out of our former self. Now consider this for a minute. It's your former self, your older self, the person you were before you discovered all this stuff, that formulated that original desire to begin with. So as you have grown, has your vision of what you want expanded with you? Has it grown along with you? And oftentimes, a lot of times, the discord or even just the delay that you're experiencing in manifesting what it is you want to manifest has to do with precisely that you're kind of using an old, let's say an old blueprint for your vision, right? But your ideas have already expanded and you're not keeping up with them, or your vision has not kept up with them. So it's good to upgrade your vision, right? It's good to update. It's good to go back to the drawing table every once in a while, even though you're out there going, hey, I want Kelly back in my life and I want Johnny back in my life. Well, consider that you've changed, okay? And consider that as you've changed, your vision and your vision for what that was before maybe hasn't changed, all right? And that doesn't mean don't focus on Johnny and Kelly anymore, okay? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, ask yourself very honestly, sit down with yourself and ask yourself, is this something that still is in line with who I have become now, right? Is this chasing this person, wanting that text message, wanting their attention so badly, still in line with who I am now and what it is I really want? Because chances are you get what you want, and suddenly you'll go, what's missing here? Something's missing. I don't feel as satisfied in having this as I thought I would, right? And I've been after it this whole time, and I've been thinking about it this whole time. And I've had like more than one person now coming to me, one client, two clients actually, who have said, in the process of taking your advice, Tarkan, and taking all the advice of all the stuff I've been reading, in the process of that, I've been really focusing on myself. I've been becoming a happier person. I've been becoming more confident. And then my specific person came back, but somebody else bounced in too. And so now they found themselves in a sort of a situation where they're going, wait a minute, I kind of like this new person. Now I got my old person back, in terms of they got their attention, they were going on dates with them again, right? And they could easily just go down that track, but then something else showed up, somebody else popped up, another opportunity popped up, another situation popped up. And you guys, I'm talking about, you're watching this, you probably know I'm talking about you. But it's something to consider here, because very often that's what happens, because you don't even know at this point what it is, all the things you've put out there already that you've already created without even realizing it. Living through all your contrasts and all your challenging experiences automatically caused a better, improved version of those things to appear in that, what I talk about, that infinite field of possibilities, that hazy, foggy kind of state, all right? All it requires is your consistent focus upon it, positive focus upon it, pure focus upon it, for you to move yourself into that parallel timeline, right? Into that parallel version of yourself that's already enjoying the things that you have. But consider this, there are hundreds, thousands, millions, infinite different versions of that, different realities of you, different versions of you living different versions of a reality, or a particular reality with somebody, by yourself, where you have a different job, where you ended up going, maybe you dropped out of college in this timeline and that one you never did. Maybe you went to Hollywood and weren't successful, but in another timeline you went to Hollywood and were very successful, right? In another one you got married and had kids, in another one you're divorced. I mean, all these different possibilities, they all branch off every moment that you have, not just make a decision, but that you actually have an idea about something, okay? That you have a vision about something. So that's kind of what I want to say about that. And I'm still a little bit foggy brained myself, so I'm trying to make sense here. But the thing is, be aware that sometimes you may need to sit down with yourself again every few months and maybe revise your vision a little bit, maybe update it, upgrade it a little bit. And again, I'm not talking about give up on Kelly or give up on Billy or Johnny, okay? Because if you're worried about that, then you have way too much attachment to them anyway, into that situation anyway. It's not about the form, remember, it's about the essence of what it is that you want, right? What is the feeling that you're after? What is the state of being that you're after? Maybe Johnny and Kelly no longer satisfy that. Or maybe all that's needed is a different version of them to show up, right? There's different versions of Johnny and Kelly out there too. But here's the thing, it could be somebody else. It could be Bobby. It could be Barbara. I mean, in terms of the people that I was talking about, the clients I was talking about, they suddenly found themselves having released all this resistance that they had carried around about their specific person for all this time, and they finally made that change. They made that shift inside of themselves to be happier, to be more confident, to focus on themselves. And what happened was, not only did their specific person come back, but somebody else even better came back. And then they made the decision, maybe I'll pursue that, right? Because maybe that new person was much more in line with who they had now become. And maybe that new person was always there in the sidelines, just waiting for them to align with it. Because sometimes you think you want that thing or that person or that specific whatever, but you don't realize there's something even more amazing waiting for you. Or more amazing in terms of much more in line with who you have become, because you're going to change, you're going to grow, you're going to expand, okay? So sometimes that can be the case. You have grown, but your vision hasn't kept up with you, and that's why there seems to be this kind of discord, right? So are you really aiming as high as you could be? Maybe you're shooting too low, right? Because maybe you still have an old understanding of yourself that you're not as powerful as you think you are, that you need to settle for something that you think, or that thing that you're so after is the best that you were ever able to do in your life. That's another thing, all right? We often want that specific person back because in our mind we go, wow, that's the best I ever had. And the other version of that, that goes in the other direction where your mind says, well, that's probably the best I'll ever be able to do, so that's why I want that back so badly. But that's a false assumption. That's a false premise to operate under. Of course you can do better. You can always do better because you're an ever growing, ever expanding, ever evolving being. That's never going to stop, okay? And your desires will always change. You think maybe you're in the throes of this emotional brouhaha with your specific person and you think, no, Tarkan, I want only them. Fine, I'm not saying you can't have them. I'm saying down the road, as you expand even further, as you evolve even further, as you come even further into your power, you may find things popping up in your life that are even better than what you could have imagined, and then you'll realize, oh, I've always been aiming too low in my life. Always been shooting way too low, and I could aim much, much higher than this. All right? And maybe that'll end up being the person that you're still interested in, and that's fine, okay? But what I'm saying is, try to realize that you have grown and expanded as a result of this process, and just even as a result of just living your life and going through your experiences. If you've been after somebody for 2 years, 5 years, are you the same person you were 5 years ago when you formulated that desire? And is that desire still in line with who you are now? Is it still in harmony with who you are now? And maybe that's why it's such a long time in coming. And maybe that's why you feel such discord even around the idea of actually manifesting what it is you want and the person that it is you want, that you've had your focus on for so long. Okay? A lot of people don't realize that. Oftentimes we get it and we go, oh, it's just not what I want anymore. And all this time I thought I wanted it, and I went through this process of changing and coming into my power, and then I manifested that person, and now, I mean, it happens. And it could be with anything. It could be with money. It could be with a certain job situation. Understand that as you are changing and evolving and growing, your desires are going to change and evolve and grow. And so, you know, be a little bit diligent about keeping up with that. Making your vision, upgrading your vision from time to time. You know, every few months, just sit down and go, is this really still what I want? Or can I do more here? Am I aiming too low? Have I grown beyond these possibilities? And now the possibilities that I could have are much, much larger and broader than they ever were before. Well, they always will be, right? So don't be afraid to do that. And you can involve your specific person in your desire upgrade, okay? You can still make it about whoever it is, Kelly, Bob, Billy, Barbara, Sarah, whatever. You can still make it about them. But is the vision that you had for that situation still in line with who you are now, okay? So, and that's something I can't tell you how to do, but I'm just saying, you know, be aware that sometimes it's possible that when something is that long in coming, that this could be a possible cause of it, that you actually are still sort of operating in your own framework, in your own old mindset. And you have actually, as a person, expanded and evolved and grown far beyond that. And maybe you just don't even realize it yet, that you're capable of much, much more than you even think you are right now. And your inner being knows it. You see what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like waiting for you to catch up with your new version of yourself. That's often what happens, because it can't ever force you to do things. It never will force you to do things. It'll never cram things down your throat. But, you know, it's grown beyond your old version of yourself, and it's waiting for you to catch up with a new vision. All right, you can say, oh, you can have Kelly, you can have this particular situation with Kelly or whatever, but we kind of know that once you get that, it's not really what you're going to want, okay? So just be open to that, okay? Upgrade your vision from time to time. Is this really exactly still the way that you want things to be? And if you want to, you know, subtract some things from your desire and add some other things and just kind of change the recipe around a little bit, okay, then feel free to do so, all right? But just understand that you're changing and expanding all the time. And sometimes your desires don't keep up with that. Your vision doesn't keep up with that. You're still desiring something that an older version of you desired, maybe a couple of years ago, maybe even 6 months ago. You know, you'd be amazed at how fast and how deeply you can change as a person in 3 to 6 months, and how quickly and amazingly your life can turn around in 3 to 6 months, all right? Try it out and see what you come up with. Write down what the vision and the desire you've had for such a long time and see how it feels as you write it down. Is it still giving you that you know, ooh, yeah, that kind of thing in the stomach, that rise? Is it kind of boring you a little bit to think about it? That's an indication maybe that you need to kind of sit down and reformulate it. Upgrade the blueprint, okay, for your vision. All right, guys? So that's my first video back after getting sick. And like I said, I'm going to keep it a short one this time. There will be a new podcast episode next week. Keep an eye out for that. You guys are going to like it, I guarantee. And also, if you want some coaching, please check out the description box. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate any and all of your contributions and tips. And thanks you for all you guys who have made contributions and left tips. You can find links for that for Cash App and PayPal down below. Join the Facebook group, that's also down below. And thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all your well wishes. And I'm still improving, so I think I sound a little bit better, I believe. All right. So until the next one, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.